So hi everyone and welcome to the third episode of Yusuf Meets, where I'm joined by the third player and his name is Dael Fry. What's going on, Dael?
Nothing much, mate. Just chilling. Had loads of games. We've got another tough game on Saturday against Millwall. It's time to push on, so I'm looking forward to it.
And how's this season been for you? Because obviously you've been here for, is it your fifth or sixth season that you've played with the first team?
Yeah, I think I made my debut on my 18th birthday, and I've sort of been in and out the team where the past two seasons I've really, played a lot of the amount of games. And compared to last year, I'm enjoying this year. I'm playing well. I'm confident. And obviously last year we were in a relegation battle. And then this year, we're looking to push into top six. So yeah, it's going really good.
So what's the difference, you'd say, then, from last season to this year? Because essentially it's pretty much the same squad of players, obviously different manager, one or two, new players. But what would you say has been the big difference?
I just think the manager's got the best out of players this year. Everyone wants to play well. It's Neil Warnock, he's experienced. And like I say, I just think he's got the best out of players. And, like I say, we're so close to getting in that top six where every game matters now. And we've got an experienced manager behind us, Neil Warnock, knows the league inside out. So, we're looking forward to it, really.
So you're obviously our longest serving player as well. I mean, you're only like 23. How does that make you feel, like being the longest serving player? And I think you're the only player in the squad that's worked under Aitor Karanka. So, I mean, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, I remember getting promoted that year. It was a fantastic year. I think I played about 10 games, but going up that year was fantastic. And hopefully this year, we can achieve that again, because it's such a great feeling. It's life-changing. The whole town, especially like what's going on with the COVID stuff. If we can get promoted this year, it'll just be a big lift for the whole town.
Yeah, so obviously you've played with a few different managers over the years. Who would you say has been your favourite manager that you've worked with? Obviously, you had Aitor, you had Gary Monk, you had Tony Pulis, Woodgate, and obviously Warnock this year. Who's been your favourite?
I think they all have like the different qualities and stuff. But if I had to pick one who I've enjoyed working underneath, I'd probably say Warnock. I think he's got the best out of me. I enjoyed playing for him. But like I say, all the managers I've worked under have been fantastic. But if I had to pick one, it'd probably be Neil Warnock.
Tactically, who'd you say has been the most tactical in terms of the way they set up the team and the way they're giving you your instructions? Who's been the best tactically for you?
I think under Karanka, it was very tactical. We had a good bunch of players, but a lot went into the formation and stuff like that. Where with Warnock, it's slow the game down. Don't rush, don't make mistakes. If you can't play, just go long and stuff like that. But all the managers have a tactical side to it. But like I say, all managers are different. But Neil Warnock's, he's got the lads playing well this year, so I'd have to say Neil Warnock.
So obviously you mentioned before that you made your debut just before your 18th birthday at Preston. I mean, how did that make you feel? Because obviously a couple of months earlier we were in the playoff final, we lost it, and it was quite a bit of a disappointment. But how did it make you feel? Because I think it was Ayala that was out injured, and there's another centre half that was out injured. So obviously it meant you started. I mean, how did you feel?
I wasn't really nervous, to be fair. I wasn't thinking about the game. But I remember Preston away when I because you come out on the corner, and I came out and I seen all the Red Boro fans, and I knew my mum and dad were there and stuff, and it was live on Sky, first game of the season. And I just remembered wow, these are the games I want to play, and I want to play every week and stuff like that. But I'm grateful for Crank giving me my debut. Like I say, I think it was my 18th birthday, and it was a fantastic achievement for me. My family, everything I've worked for since I was growing up to that day. It was fantastic.
And obviously you got man of the match as well. Was that a bit of a surprise that you? How do you think you performed that game? Were you a bit nervous?
I thought I'd done well, but I think every debutant gets man of the match, to be fair. But no, I think I played well. It was a 0-0 game, so clean sheet as a defender, that's what you want. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it's put me in good stead for where I am today.
And then growing up, who did you support as a child when you were a football player? Growing up.
I used to support Arsenal when I was growing up. I used to have all the Arsenal kits. I had Fabregas on the back. But obviously I went to all the Boro games. I had a season ticket. I grew up watching Jonathan Woodgate and stuff like that. So I've always been like a Boro fan, like through and through. I was always queuing up on the first day to get the Boro kits and stuff like that. So definitely Middlesbrough, yeah.
So were you ever like a mascot or a ball boy or any of that in terms of like your journey?
Yeah, I was a ball boy. So I think we went through a stage where it was like the under 13s or something like that, under 15s. Would be ball boy, and we used to go every week. And I remember we played Newcastle at home, and I was actually sat in the away end. And the abuse that they were shouting was crazy, and I was right behind it as a young kid, and I was like, oh, looking around. But yeah, it was a great experience, and one that I'll never forget.
So obviously, seeing stuff like that, does that like give you the drive to be a professional footballer? Because when you obviously see youngsters nowadays, a lot of them might want to be a footballer for the money, or they might want it for the lifestyle. But actually being a ball boy, actually being involved in like a normal match day, I know there's a bit of abuse and stuff, but does it give you like an extra bit of a buzz?
Yeah, definitely. Like I remember, I think Middlesbrough played Man United at home, and Cristiano Ronaldo was in the tunnel, for example. And I remember just seeing him, and my eyes just like, wow, like I want to be in that tunnel. I want to be coming out and stuff like that. And just seeing them players around the building as well, you always want to be in their position. But it's not easy. You've got to work hard, and that's something I've learned.
Over the years, what would you say has been like the best atmosphere that you've played in, as a professional footballer?
The best game I've been to was when obviously Middlesbrough got promoted, when we played Brighton. That last game, I didn't play in that game, but I was on the side. And when Dimmy caught that ball in the last, sort of minutes, and then the big cheer, the whistle went everyone around the pitch. That's got to be up there. But best game I've played in, I'm not too sure. I haven't played in like many like big games, but I remember playing against Aston Villa in the playoff final. Not playoff final, playoff semi-final, and we didn't quite make it. But that, to play in that final at such a young age, I learned a lot, and I'd say that was one of, I played well as well. So that was a game that I remember.
Yeah, because I remember that was the season that you also established yourself as a first teamer under Gary Monk. And I remember quite early on, I think we played against, was it Norwich on a Tuesday night? And I think you made a small mistake for the goal. I think James Maddison scored. But then the next game, I think you might have got dropped. Do you think sometimes the managers like pick on like the younger players when they make a mistake? Because that season, quite a few of the established players made mistakes, but they weren't really dropped. But do you think it's easier for a manager to drop a younger player than an established pro?
Yeah, I think it is. I think, mistakes are part of the game, especially when you're younger. You learn from them. And but yeah, I do think it is, like, obviously if a senior player makes a mistake, but the manager's already, they've played hundreds of games in the league. They know the league and stuff like that, where as a young lad, if you make a mistake, it can take its toll on you if you think about it too much. And then I remember Bournemouth away, I was thinking, like, don't make a mistake, I'm back in the team. And then I end up like losing my man for a corner, and he scored. So when you're overthinking stuff like that, rather than, looking at it and learning from it, you can actually, make it worse. So I think you've just, from a personal point of view, you've got to keep working hard. The manager knows you've got potential or quality. You've got to keep working hard, and then hopefully get back in the team and, prove the manager wrong. But like I say, every mistake you learn from. So, going into the next game, you'll know what you've done wrong, and you can put it right.
Would you say it's harder than coming through as a defender? So I think when you're like a young winger, or you're a young striker, you can come off the bench for 15 minutes, show what you can do. But when you're a defender, it's quite hard to do that.
Yeah, it is, because obviously you're like the last line of defence, and if you make a mistake, the opposition's more likely going to score, especially in the Championship and the higher levels you go. But I was lucky enough to go out on loan to Rotherham, which I think was key to my career so far. I think I played like 10 games under like 3 different managers. I was in a relegation battle. I made a few mistakes myself. I was out with the eye a little bit, so I learned a lot there, and I've come back, and then I've took everything I've learned from being on loan at Rotherham to coming back into Middlesbrough and putting it into my game, really.
So is that something that you would suggest to like a lot of young players to do, to go out on loan, play first team football, play men's football essentially, and learn, make mistakes and etc.?
Yeah. I think when I went out on loan, I was 18, and I did find it tough at the time. I was coming up against big strikers. I was only like skinny, you know what I mean? I wasn't strong. I remember playing against Cardiff, and I played against Ricky Lambert, and he gave me a tough afternoon. Big boy, good knee, and I realised, well, I need to get in the gym. I need to get stronger if I want to, cope in this league. And that's what I've done, and I've not let people sort of bully me as they have done in the past. That's one area of my game that I've really strengthened, I think.
Another thing that's also helped you in your career was probably that season under Pulis when we finished seventh, just outside the playoffs. Because I think you played right back, right wing back. You played centre back in a 2, centre back in a 3, and I think you even played left back in one game at Swansea. I think when we had the injury. Yeah. I mean, how helpful was that playing in so many different positions in terms of your development?
Yeah, well, I enjoyed it, to be fair, playing right back under Pulis, because I could get up and down, and I think I got a few assists as well that season. It was a strange one because I wasn't expecting to play right back, but I enjoyed it. And as a young kid, I've played centre midfield, I've played full back, I've been a defender. But I think now I'm officially like a centre half. I've been playing there, the past 2 years. I've learned a lot being on the right hand side. I know how hard you have to work and stuff like that. So it has, put me in good stead, really. And if I'm ever needed to go to right back again for whatever reason, I sort of know how to play the role.
I think it kind of helped you understand the different tactical stuff. Because I remember it was against Brentford away when I think you whipped out a terrific ball in for Hugo's goal, stuff like that. So is that you've got different targets, I guess, as a right back? Do you think of getting assists and coming on forward rather than when you're as a centre back, it's all about defending first and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. The fullback can get away with it a bit more. You can get up the pitch, when they're crossing from the opposite side, the manager wants you to get in the box. But there's also downsides to it, because I remember when we played Aston Villa at home, and I was up against Yannick Bolasie, and then he started doing some mad tricks like rubbing the floor like you seen him do the other day. And I was thinking, wow, I don't want to be playing out wide against Yannick and someone like that. So it is tough, but I learned a lot. But you're playing against probably the best player in the team out wide, and for a big lad like me to move my feet against someone like him was tough. But going forward, I enjoyed it, getting crosses in and stuff. But the defending was tough. But I've learned a lot, especially 1v1 defending this year, definitely.
So you've also played for England under the various age groups. Was it under 16s, under 17s that you were first called up?
From under 17s to the 21s, yeah. So I played every age group in the 17s.
Pretty much every summer you kind of was involved in a tournament up until maybe a couple of years ago when you got injured.
Yeah, every international break I was away and stuff like that. And I sort of think that's sort of why I got injured as well with a hamstring. I never really had a break. The championship fixtures are all hectic, and then you go away with the national team and you play another 3 games there, and you come back and you're playing again. But to be fair, the other day I was looking back on my England career, and I only think of it as good memories. I won the World Cup and the Euros as well. Managed to play with some great players. Most of them are playing in the Premier League now, so to be involved with that group was fantastic.
I don't think people actually realise the calibre of players you actually played with, because I've got a list of a few of them, and literally some of them are the best in the Premier League. So you've got people like Dean Henderson, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joe Gomez, Fikayo Tomori, Ben Chilwell, James Maddison, Phil Foden, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Tammy Abraham, Eddie Nketiah. I don't think people actually realise you've been playing with some of the best players in the Premier League. Was there anyone that you kind of are surprised with how well they've done? Because you thought maybe, yeah, they're a good player, but they've really surprised you at how well they've done.
I wouldn't say surprised, but what I did realise is they all work hard. So they've all got talent, but I always thought people had talent. They might not work as hard and stuff like that. But for example, like Phil Foden, I knew he was talented. He came away once with us with the 21s. And in a possession, and he was fantastic. One touch, and you just thought, wow, he's so young, but he's fantastic. But then what surprised me is after he was in the gym doing squats and stuff, and I thought, he's not just talented, he's got his head screwed on, and he's working hard. So I think Phil Foden was one who really impressed me, and his work ethic as well was fantastic.
So in terms of what you've learned from like going to England and stuff, do you ever like speak to any of the like young lads coming through the academy, telling them what they have to do? Because obviously they probably look up to you as being one of the few players that have come from the academy over the years, and you've had all this experience playing with some elite, professional footballers, playing Champions League football, playing for England, etc. Like, have you like spoken to them in terms of what they have to do? Because I think we've got Nathan Woods, for example, who's doing a similar thing to you in terms of playing England age groups, and he's gone out on loan to Crewe. Do you like give them tips or an advice, or do you just kind of let them go through their own journey?
No, I'm quite close to it, to be fair. I text him most days. I've asked him how he's getting on at Crewe, he's enjoying it. And I look back at a similar time for me, I check the results, check how he's getting on, and at the time where he probably thinks, oh, we're getting beat here, it's not going to look good on me. I know that he's just learning, and it's a learning curve for him, and he'll come back 100 times better player.
I've had a couple of messages from a couple of people from like your past.
Yeah.
So there's one question saying, ask Dael why his nickname used to be called Will Arch when he was a young one. You know what I mean?
I know who sent that question as well. I know
who said it. Who do you think said it?
Is it Lewis Maloney?
But how do you know?
Because one time I got my hair cut, and the barber cut a bit high on the ear here, so you could just see an eye. So when I come in one time, I was trying to hide it by walking like this, and Lou was like, "Who's cut your hair?" And I was like, "Oh, why do you not like it?" It's going, "It looks like a wheel arch," and it says it goes round like all that. Get out of the way, you. Talking about haircuts here, and he's got a baldy behind me.
What's the matter with my haircut, Yeah.
To show what goes on behind the scenes. I got another message actually as well from somebody, and it says, my wife Julie used to teach him at Unity City Academy, and said he's a really lovely lad. We're both pleased to see him doing well. Please say hi to him from Mrs. Prest from Food Technology Department at UCA.
All right, yeah, I remember Miss Prest, yeah. So I was doing cooking lessons, and I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And I remember we were making pizzas for an exam, and at the end they take a photo of everything, and my pizza had no cheese on top; it was just bread. So that's how much I was good at cooking, and I still can't really cook now, to be fair. The best getting at me is beans on toast or something like that.
So was it your favourite lesson in cookery?
Yeah, but she never done a good job teaching me, did she? Really?
So geography wasn't one of your strengths then, because I remember you did a video with Connor Roberts about.
Yeah, but I got stitched up on that one. I got stitched up on that one, yeah, because he knew some of the answers beforehand, where I never knew any. So yeah, that guy named said he won. I still remember that one.
I told you the answer.
You didn't tell me the answer. You didn't. No, you never. Josie saying he told me the answer and I still got it wrong, but he's like.
So what's the currency of Argentina then? Do you still think it's the euro?
Next question. Don't ask me this again.
No, fair enough. So you haven't improved then with geography over the years then?
No, definitely not. No.
So even though you go to England and you go to different countries, different cities, you never thought, where am I?
Nah, I've been to a lot of countries, a lot of nice countries and stuff, but I never really take no notice of the history behind the country or anything like that. Just whether the sun's in the sky, that's all I notice. Really.
Fair enough. So we've got loads of questions from fans coming through. Probably the most so far. The first one is from Lee, and he asked, ask him, does he love a Toby Carvery? Seen him in there before the first lockdown. I have no idea what that means, being a Londoner. So yeah. So
Toby Carvery is like a Sunday dinner, and I have been in there a few times, and yeah, I love the Toby Carvery, mint sauce dolloped all over. Yeah, I've been in there a few times. It's really nice.
Food question. I have no idea why people are asking about food today. It's from Sean. He says, how many ultimate breakfasts do you think you can smash in one sitting at Morrison's in Berwick Hills?
I haven't had a breakfast from there in years, but I'd probably say about two breakfasts, maybe. Yeah, not a bad standard.
Yeah, because I got another question from Craig, who's asking, when's the last time you've been to Morrison's in Berwick Hills? Because people have seen it there all the time. Is that like your favourite shop?
Well, it's my local. I grew up in Berwick Hills, so Morrison's is literally 2 minutes around the corner from my mum and dad's. And when I was younger, mum and dad used to always go there. So now if I ever need, I don't know, anything, deodorant and stuff like that, or something for a dinner, I'll just pop in Morrison's Berwick Hills. Yeah, my go-to really.
Perfect. Next question is from Andy, and he says, "How does it feel to be named the Berwick Hills Beckenbauer?"
I got nicknamed this when I was growing up, when I used to play for Cleveland Juniors when I was younger. So it's quite familiar, but to be compared to someone like him is absolutely fantastic. So it's great, really.
Have you had any other nicknames then? Because I know a few of the lads call you like Dalo and stuff. Do you have any like other nicknames?
I know you wait for me to say it. The Lighthouse, if you know that one.
The Lighthouse, of
Lighthouse,
course. Yeah.
yeah.
Heard that one.
Yeah, but that's it really. Dalo, Lighthouse. That's it really, yeah.
Next question is from Jacob. He says, are the rumours about you and Grant Hall true, being the best centre-back partnership in the league?
To be fair, since Grant's come in, he's done absolutely fantastic. Love playing alongside him. And I've been criticised for not scoring as many goals as I should off corners. And Grant's come in and took the pressure off a little bit. He's got like 2 in the last 4 games. And he's fantastic on the ball. He's a good defender. He's a proper recognised centre half. And we found that a decent partnership, and hopefully we can keep going until the end of the season.
So what would you say you've enjoyed more, the assist that you did for Fletch at Reading or the goal against Bristol? I know we lost, but in terms of
definitely the assist. But to be fair, when I scored that goal, I was thinking, do I go back and celebrate it? First goal? But then I was like, getting beat 3-1, just run back to your spot and, try and get another. To score when we were getting beat 3-0, it didn't really mean as much. But I definitely think the assist, Reading was a big game. They're fighting for the playoffs as well. So definitely, the assist against Reading.
Because you've been criticised for not heading very well. I think Pulis, that was one of the first things you said, that you needed to header the ball more. So how did it feel to kind of, in terms of prove people wrong that you can head a ball and you can defend as well?
Yeah, well, it takes a lot of hard work, practice after training, heading the ball. And I've done a lot with Jonathan Woodgate as well, and he's really brought my game on, heading the ball. He's really big on it. And, it's all about timing. I worked on that, and I think I've really improved this year. Like I said, I don't think I've really been as bullied as much. I've been a bit more aggressive. I am getting my head in the end of a lot of things, but going forward and attacking, I just need that little bit of luck and, be a bit more aggressive and attack the ball, try and get more goals off corners, because as a defender, you want about 4 or 5 goals a season. And at the minute, I'm not doing that. So that's something I'm definitely looking to improve on.
Next question is from Vinny. What was it like to win the Under-20s World Cup and Under-17s European Championships?
Yeah, it was fantastic. Like I say, I've got great memories with England, and with the Euros. I think the manager at the time was John Peacock, and he was fantastic. And like I say, all the lads who I've played with then are all going on to have good careers. But as a player, you want to win trophies and stuff like that. And to win that at a young age, the media was huge on things like that, and to get that little bit of experience, it gives you a bit more hunger as well to kick on, and win other trophies as well. Next
question's from David. He says, "What's your go-to TV series?"
My favourite was Game of Thrones. I really enjoyed Game of Thrones, and I'm also watching something on Netflix at the minute. Probably get battered for it a bit. It's called Selling Sunset, and they just basically sell properties in Hollywood and stuff like that. And I'm really enjoying that. So yeah.
Next question is from Peter, and he said, "Who's the toughest player you've played against and why?"
Toughest player I've played against. I remember coming on in the cup against Man City, and they had fantastic players. They had De Bruyne, Sterling, Aguero, and I came on at half time, and I remember marking Aguero in the box. Crank was like, "Listen, just stay with stay with Aguero, don't make any mistakes." And Sterling had the ball, and I remember checking my shoulder, and Aguero was there, and I thought, right, I've got him here. So I look 1 second back to the ball, and I look back again, and Aguero's not there. He's gone at the front post. And then Brad Guzan's made a worldie save and, got me out of it, really. But I definitely say, Aguero, he's had a fantastic career. And playing against him, you just realise how clever they are and stuff like that. And that's sort of the level that I want to get to defend against them players, And playing against him was crazy. I learned a lot that day.
Definitely. Next question is from Adam, and he says, what footballer inspired you the most when you were growing up?
When I was growing up, I think my idol was sort of Steven Gerrard. I think every young lad growing up, you know, and stuff like that. And I also like Cesc Fabregas, and stuff like that. But I definitely say Steven Gerrard. I think, you know, I used to shoot in the goals, going Gerrard, screaming, scoring, and running off, doing a celebration. So probably Gerrard, yeah.
And then in terms of like defenders, is there any like defenders that you saw growing up that you kind of aspired to be like?
I used to watch John Terry a lot. I think he's fantastic. He played on the left side of defence, and he's right-footed, and that's where I found myself at sometimes. And I think he was just a proper leader, proper defender, and you know, he's had a solid career, won pretty much everything. So John Terry I used to look up to. Yeah, he's a fantastic player.
Next question is from Ellie. And she says, out of any Boro defender, past or present, who would be your dream centre back pairing?
I think it was really special when me and Ben Gibson played together. You know, two Boro lads, centre half. I'd definitely say Ben Gibson. You know, he's a left-sided centre half. I'm a right footer. You know, I think we complement each other really well. He's a Boro lad. He's dead loud, and I think definitely Ben Gibson. Yeah.
There was a story of when Woodgate told you were going to be captain against Bristol City. Tell us about it from your point of view.
Yeah, so I remember going out onto the bus the day before we travelled down, and Woody pulled me in reception and was like, "Oh, you're going to be captain tomorrow." And then I just sort of like froze a bit, and I was like, "All right, nice one." And then I just went on the bus. And then as I've like thought about it, I thought, wow, captaining like my hometown, you know, team is absolutely fantastic. Come back from injury, and he just showed the faith that he had in me. And at the time, I never really realised that. And I didn't have a great season last year. So, you know, but as I'd like to under Woody, and he put a lot of faith in me. But when he told me I was captain, I was absolutely buzzing. And like I say, I've kept the captain arms band. I've got it like in a portrait at home and stuff with a shirt and stuff like that. But like I say, it was a fantastic achievement for me and my family. And yeah, I go on and do it again.
So you mentioned you felt you didn't have a good season last season. Why do you think that's the case? Why do you think you didn't have the best season? I know the team didn't, but why do you think personally you didn't have the best season?
I struggled a bit with injuries last year. And, you know, coming back, I remember when I was injured, you know, we were having a decent season. But then when I was coming back, everyone was like, "Oh, when Dale's back, we'll be absolutely fine. You know, we'll go on to the playoffs, might even win the league and stuff like that." And I think that like the pressure in a sort of way, I was like, I wouldn't say it got to me, but it was always in the back of my mind. And then when you're like thinking about that yourself, you know, you end up, you know, you don't end up playing well for whatever reason. Injuries are coming up. And you know, I wasn't consistent enough last year. One time I'd play well, then the next game I'd make a mistake and we'd get beaten. It was my fault, for example. But one thing I've learned from that year is just don't dwell on your mistakes, learn from it, and then go again, really. And, you know, mistakes happen in every way of life. You just got to keep going and work hard.
So would you say it's harder for you than some of the other players? Because obviously you're a Teesside lad, you've got friends and family that are Boro fans. So you can hear what they're saying in terms of if they want the manager to go, for example, or if they felt a player wasn't good enough. Does it like affect you more being a Boro lad?
Yeah, it definitely hurts a lot more being a Boro lad. You know, I didn't last season, you know, being like in a relegation scrap, it wasn't nice. And being a Boro lad, it hurts a little bit more. You know, you're from here, you know the town, you know what people think of the club and stuff. And, you know, it's not nice sometimes when you're down there, you're just constantly thinking about it. I'm going to my mum and dad's and I know they're thinking about it and I know they're worried about what I'm thinking and stuff. But it's like one of them things, you know, I think every player will go through a season like that and you just got to, you know, learn from it really.
The next question is from Andrew, and he says, who's had the biggest influence in your career and whose advice do you appreciate the most?
I'm going to say my dad on this one because when I was younger, I'd come home from school and my dad would be right, you ready? Let's get in the car. Let's go to football. And he was bringing me in like an hour and a half before the session even started. And, you know, if it wasn't for him, like, you know, that's where my hard work came from. You know, I was in the sports hall doing right foot, left foot, you know, just in there with a ball constantly, like twice a week, just an hour and a half before everyone. And, you know, I've had that like sort of installed in me since I was younger. And even now I'm putting in the extra work and doing stuff like that. So I'd definitely say my dad was, you know, a big inspiration to me and why I'm where I am today, really, definitely.
Cool. The next question is from Jez, and he says, has anyone tried to lure you away from Teesside? Surely they must have, he said. And then if so, what made you stay?
Well, I'm a Boro lad, love it here. Contracted to Middlesbrough. I'm enjoying it, and you know, hopefully we can get in the Premier League at the end of the season.
Next question is from Nicola, and she said, are you looking forward to seeing the supporters and fans back in the stadium?
Yeah, I was only thinking this year. I was thinking, obviously, we're doing well this year, just outside the playoffs, got a chance to get in there, and I thought, like, how good it'd be for the fans to be in the stadium, you know, cheering us on. You know, we've had a few good results at the Riverside, even away from home, and you know, hopefully, you can all be back in soon. And you know, who knows, if we're in the playoffs, fans might be allowed back in, and then we can enjoy that moment together. But I can't wait for the fans to come back in. I think, you know, we've definitely missed them as a 12th man. But I can't wait for fans to be coming back in at the Riverside.
Yeah, because obviously the atmosphere at the Riverside on our day is fantastic. Does it give like the players the extra bit of a boost, or does it not really affect your performance with or without fans?
No, I definitely think it gives you a boost. You know, especially when you're playing well, and you know we're winning like 1-0, we just scored, and everyone's cheering. Or even like when you're 2-0 down and you get a goal back, and then you know that you hear the roar from the fans, and you're pushing for a goal and stuff like that. We've definitely missed them a lot this year, because there's been times in games where, you know, we might be getting beat 1-0 going into the final 5 minutes. And, you know, normally you hear the fans like with a big roar, like, you know, a whistle to get us going. And we've missed that a little bit this year. But like I say, we're in a good position at the minute. And hopefully, you know, by the end of the season, we can have some fans coming in cheering us on.
Definitely. Next question is from Adam, and he says, put these in order from worst to best. So they're centre-back partnerships. So Vidic and Ferdinand, Terry and Carvalho, PK and Puyol, Fry and Hall.
I'm going to have to say Fry and Hall the worst.
Really?
Yeah, well, I'm going to have to, yeah. The craze that they've had, you know what I mean?
Fair enough.
And then, who else did you say? You said Terry and Carvalho. Who else?
Terry and Carvalho, Vidic and Ferdinand, and PK and Puyol.
And then I'll probably say PK, Puyol.
Okay.
And then Terry and Carvalho, and then Ferdinand and Vidic.
So what makes a good partnership? Does it need to be two separate, like, so obviously Ferdinand was the ball playing centre half and Vidic was the aggressive one. Do you need like one ball playing and one aggressive?
I think so, yeah. I think it helps well if, you know, you've got a left-footed centre half in the team. Because, you know, left-footed centre halves are hard to go about these days. And like I say, a ball playing centre half and one who's quite aggressive. Like you say, with Ferdinand and Vidic, that's what they were like. But it's also like to play alongside like a leader, for example. Like centre halves normally leaders. You know, you can see everything on the pitch. You can organise things and stuff like that. So I'd definitely say like playing alongside a leader, for example, is like a huge, huge thing.
So do you think you're becoming more of a leader? Because that's one of the things that Warnock has said about the team. They lack leaders. And, you know, would you say you're getting more of a leader, or because I know you're quite a quiet lad sometimes. Do you feel like you're getting more confident to like instruct players what to do?
Yeah, I think like on the pitch, I'd like to think I sort of lead by example. And, you know, I'm starting to be louder. I'm starting to be more aggressive and stuff like that. So that's something I'd like to add to my game as well. But I'm only young, and I can, you know, that's something I can definitely work on. And I feel like this year I have pushed on a bit in, you know, that aspect, and it's something I want to get better at as well.
So the next question is from Andrew, and he says, who's the best player in training?
The best player in training? I think in training, Cabano's been really good since he's came in. He's very sharp. He's stronger than you think. So I'd definitely say Cabano. Yeah, we've got a few other good trainers as well, but like, you know, Johnny Alson gives 110% every training session. Paddy McNair's quality on the ball and stuff like that. But I'd definitely say Cabano, definitely.
Do you prefer to play with 3 central defenders or 2?
Depends really which game we're playing in. If I'm playing in a back 3, I like to play in the middle, sort of like sweep things up. But as a back 2, you know, you're a bit more open. and you've got to cover each other as centre halves. But you can also like step in with the ball. You've got more options because you've got an extra man in midfield and stuff like that. But if you had to pick, I'd definitely pick probably two centre halves.
And Leanne says, if you hadn't made it as a footballer, what do you think you would be doing instead? A geography teacher?
If I never made it as a footballer, honestly, I don't have a clue what I'd be doing, because in school, like, didn't really get the best grades. Even though I worked hard, I didn't really get the best grades and stuff. So honestly, I don't have a clue. I'd probably be stacking shelves somewhere. I don't know. Honestly, I don't have a clue. I've never thought about it, to be honest.
I reckon you could have had a shot going on X Factor after seeing your performance of Merry Christmas, everyone. That was quality.
I got stitched up with that one as well. I wasn't supposed to sing, but I sang. But yeah, Juicy, honestly, all he does is stitch people up. So yeah.
Did you know you had the singing voice like that?
I sound good in the shower, but when I have to sing in front of people, no, terrible.
Big Mac or quarter pounder?
I don't really do burgers from like McDonald's. I prefer Burger King. And if I was going to go to a Burger King, I'd get a bacon double cheese XL with loads of tomato sauce in. But from McDonald's, I'm more of a chicken select man. So just chicken select with a sweet chili dip. That's it really, yeah. I'm not a big burger man from McDonald's, definitely not.
What advice would you give to someone at school right now?
I'd say always work hard, because like I say, if I wasn't a footballer, I'd need something to look back on, definitely. But like I say, when I was under 18s, well, even before that, a lot of lads aren't in the game now, from who I grew up with, who I thought was going to make it, and they've obviously had to go elsewhere and look for a career. So it can all look so good. People can tell you stuff, or you're going to be this and that, but you've got to have something to fall back on, definitely, because you can leave yourself a bit devastated and then start late, for example. So I definitely think you've got to work hard in school, and it is hugely important.
It's a good point you made there about the fact that a lot of your players that you played with aren't really in the game anymore. And if you think about it nowadays, like practically every kid is, whether they're a girl or a boy, they're playing for their local age group or whatever, and not all of them are going to make it. So what would you say, like, apart, I mean, what do they need to do to get to where you are right now?
I've grew up with people who were better than me, had a better potential than me, but you've just got to work hard. And and there's sort of like, in a way, as you go on, there's sort of no friends in the game. You've got to, like, you're playing as a team, but ultimately the goal is to get in the first team. And if someone's better than you, you've just got to keep working hard and stay back for an hour, do the extras, come in early, and that's what I've done. And then I've sort of made a career out of it. So long may it continue. Yeah.
The next question is from Nathan, and he says, do you remember constantly losing it in a game of kick your ball spio growing up on raised field close? Again, I ain't got a clue what that means.
Yeah, kick your ball spio is where obviously you kick the ball far away, then everyone's got a hard, and you get the ball and come back. So it's a bit like hide and seek. And I used to play that a lot on my estate growing up. But yeah, I never remember losing.
So was that one of your highlights growing up then?
Yeah, definitely. You play all sorts of games, hide and seeks and stuff like that. And like I say, I remember playing that on my estate. All the kids are out on, playing football, the football shirts on, and that's something that all the kids do around Middlesbrough. They're always out playing, and it was good fun around there when I was a kid.
And then who controls the music in the dressing room?
Tav controls the music, but normally when we go in the dressing room, Chris Mosley, the physio, he's sort of like a DJ, so he'll have his music on, and then when Tav arrives, like, I think Mose likes house music, and then when Tav arrives, he plays like all the rap music. But if I had to pick one, I think in the summer I like all the house music, like the Ibiza type songs, but then like during the rest of the year I like all the rap and stuff like that.
So yes, you like okay. So yeah, that's all the questions from the fans. Do you have any further message that you want to give to the fans at home? Because obviously you haven't really seen them this season. I know there were a few thousand were there for the Bournemouth game, but do you have any message to the fans?
Well, it's been a real tough year for everyone this year. I hope everyone's getting on really well. And then, like I say, I hope we can get promoted this year for them, or get in the playoffs. and hopefully all the fans can come back in and we can enjoy the moment together.
Definitely. Thank you very much, Dale. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks very much, mate. Nice, funny, enjoyed that. Cheers, pal.